welcome to the channel. In this video today we're going over the Templar tank. This build is relatively fun, so let's go ahead and dive into it. Maximum Magicka is 23.4, maximum health is 40.6, max stamina is 23.8, magic recovery unbuffed is 1.9, physical resistance is 22.5, unbuffed, and spell resistance is 25.8. Now, somewhat buffed up, because I can't really show you fully buffed up. Magic recovery is 2.3, spell resistance is 31.8, and physical resistance is 28.4. When our monster set procs, we are overcapped on our spell resistance, but our physical resistance is right there at it. So, it works out for us in the end. Now, I'm an Imperial, so keep that in mind. You may have to adjust your points to get where you feel comfortable at. My Magicka, I have 8 points into Magicka, 30 into health, and 26 into stamina. The boon I'm running is the Atro. The food I'm running is basic tri-stat food. Now, when I swap to my back bar, my magic recovery goes over my stamina. It's mostly due to the glyph on... it's mostly due to the sets that I'm running, but it does also kind of work out. If you're low on Magicka, which almost never happens for me, you can always pop a shard to get max Magicka, and if you're low on stamina, you just make sure you're on your front bar, and you can pop an orb. That is the only difference. So front bar, sword and board will restore stamina, back bar will restore Magicka. Now, just keep that in mind. You could completely take those 8 points out of Magicka and put them into stamina. If you don't want something like that happening to where you get stamina back no matter what, just make the adjustments if you don't feel comfortable with this kind of setup. So, champion points. In the green tree, passive-wise, I have 50 into Gilded Fingers, 50 into Fortune's Favor, 50 into Steadfast Enchantment. That's pretty much it for the passives that I use out of this tree. Now for the ones I keep on bar, Treasure Hunter, because it's always nice to find better quality items in treasure chests. Master Gather, reduce the time it takes to harvest nodes by 50%. Plentiful Harvest, you have a 10% chance to gain double the yield from normal resource nodes. Well, I guess it's 50% chance at max level. And then lastly, I use Liquid Efficiency. It gives me a 10% chance to not consume a potion or a poison. Just saves me money in the end, long run. I mean, you can go with Rationer too if you wanted to, but it really doesn't make that big of a difference on your potion. An extra 30 minutes when your food already lasts 2+ hours. So this isn't really that big of a deal. Green tree. I have 20 points over here into Blessed to keep my healing, increase my healing done. 20 into Eldritch Insight, 20 into Tireless Discipline. And then I have 20 into Quick Recovery, 20 into Hardy, 20 into Preparation, and 20 into Elemental Aegis. This one doesn't really matter, plus it goes on your bar, and we don't really need critical resistance as a PVE tank. Now for the bar, ones I keep on my bar, Duelist Rebuff, Unassassinable, Bulwark, and Reinforced. Now, I do have Enduring Resolve as well, which reduces the damage taken from overtime attacks by 10%. Sometimes I'll swap them out back and forth between these three. You know, if the enemy doesn't really have a whole lot of single target, maybe he's more AoE and damage over time, I'll swap that out. Or if he's not so much AoE attacks, but more dots and single target, then I'll swap that out, you know. But for the most part, I tend to run with just this setup. This one is only used in certain situations. So, honestly, situations is usually like with fire, like if I have to stand in fire, like if I can't get out of it, then I do tend to use it there. Now for the red tree, I have 20 into Defiance, 30 into Tumbling, 20 into Sprinter, 16 into Hasty. These two I like to have on my tank because it just makes me faster to keep up with the DPS, and it also reduces the cost of sprint because I need stamina and that stuff to block. 20 into Hero's Vigor, 30 into Fortification, 20 into Tireless Guardian, 30 into Savage Defense, 6 into Nimble Protector, and right now I have 37 into Mystic Tenacity, but this will be 50 once I'm done. Now, and then lastly, I have 50 into Tempered Soul, which, just in case I'm not paying attention or I zone out and I get one-shotted, this will, when I get rest, I have an extra 10% of my resources back instead of just starting with almost nothing. So, the abilities that I have on my bar: Bloody Renewal, whenever we kill an enemy, restore stamina. Rejuvenation gives me 150 health, magic, and stamina recovery. Ironclad, which gives me 1.7k armor. Balanced Vitality, which gives me 1.4k max health. So that's pretty much it for the champion points. Now, when it comes to sets, the monster set we're running is Lord Warden. I have a medium helmet infused with a tri-set glyph on it, but you can put max health on it, and a light shoulder sturdy with max health. Now, Hakajos are relatively expensive, so you can just put max health on here. It'll increase your health a little bit, but overall, it's not going to affect the rest of your stats. You know, you're still going to have more magic on your back bar and more stamina on your front bar, so it's really not going to make that much of a difference. So you can do max health instead of using the Hakujo. I just can't bring myself to transmute this, or not transmute it, but equip it with a max health when it has a Hakujo on it. So, Lord Warden comes from Imperial City Prison. It gives, what it's going to do is it's going to give us 1.4k armor. And when you take damage, you have 50% chance to summon a shadow orb for 10 seconds. It increases the physical and spell resistance of you and your group members within 8 meters by 3k. This effect can occur once every 10 seconds. So, this is just going to buff the defenses of the rest of the people in the group. And it works pretty well. So we're going to give them extra defenses from our monster set. And then the other set that we're running is Arceus Genius. This comes from Stone Guardian. And we're running infused on the chest and the legs, and then sturdy on the waist, gloves, and feet, all with max health. Now, what this set does, it gives us max health, armor, maximum health, and whenever you drink a potion while in combat, you and three group members gain 43 ultimate. This effect can occur once every 30 seconds. So basically, every time you have a potion, you're going to pop this, you'll pop it, and you're going to give your group members 43 ultimate. Now, this works best in 4-man content. Dragon Star, any dungeons, Black Rose Prison, things like that. Now, if you want to take this into a trial, I would get rid of Arceus for Drake's Rush. Well, honestly, even Drake's Rush, it only works for 3 group members. My mistake. I was wrong set. The other set, I have it in my inventory. I don't know why I didn't think about it. Well, I would replace it with Curse of the Dragon. My bad. I was thinking of a different setup. Accurate Dragon Guard basically gives you magic cover, healing, take, and max health, gives you health recovery, and reduces the cost of your ultimate ability by 15%. This right here is going to give you more ultimate. This right here is just going to reduce the cost of it. So I would use this in a trial scenario. If you're trying to get your trial set up or whatever, I would use this. But for 4-man content, Arceus is absolutely amazing because it's going to give you and your group 43 ultimate every 30 seconds or whenever you have a potion. So, now, for our fun bar, we're running the Maelstrom weapons. We have no problem sustaining at all. From 2k, over 2k magic recovery, plus repentance, plus any kind of minor magic steal or whatever that's on the target. Plus this sword, when you deal damage with low slash or next fully charged heavy attack used within 5 seconds, restore 1.8k magic and stamina. I have an infused sword with a weakening enchant on it, which will reduce the weapon and spell damage of our enemy by 217 for 5 seconds. And then an infused shield with a tri-set glyph on it. It came like this, and I can't change that. Now you can also go with sturdy or reinforced. I would not go with reinforced. You have more than enough defenses. If I would go with anything, it would be infused or sturdy. So now, the second 5-piece set that we're running is different. It's a set that I saw while I was farming for another set, and I was like, I want to try this out. It looks like it would pair really well with Lord Warden and Arceus, because this, you're giving your group defensive points. With this, you're giving your group ultimate. And the second 5-piece set that we're running, that only on the back bar, is Lamia Song. This is the light armor set from Arx Cranium. So you're going to have to use jewelry and weapons. Now you can double sword and board this if you want to, but then you will have to make changes because then your magical will always be higher than your stamina. But you can double bar it. It's not that big of a deal. So, but on our back bar, we're using a infused frost staff with a crusher enchant. So it's going to reduce the target's physical resistance by 2k. And now what this set does, it gives us max magicka, magic recovery, max magicka, and when you use an ultimate ability, you and your group members within 20 meters of you heal for 24 health and restore 24 points of magic and stamina per point of the ultimate cost. So that right there alone, I mean, if you just take it for just the basic math, which I think is like 250 for a Warhorn, I'm pretty sure. that's 6,000 health, stamina, and magicka they're going to get back. So when you pop that Warhorn for the execute phase, you're pretty much going to replenish, or at least give a big chunk of resources back for your magic users, or for your DPS, even your healers there. In phase, especially like halls of fabrication at the end there, where the boss just keep launching attack after attack after attack. It's going to give them more resources as well to continue the healing. Now, of course, this goes up. It does not just affect the 200. So if you have more than that as well, so let's say you're at 500 total, you have your 500 full ultimate, it's going to return 12,000. So this set, it's actually been kind of fun, and I've had a lot of fun using this in dungeons, not necessarily trials, but dungeons, um, where the jewelry wads were running just magic recovery on the jewelry. Um, but you can double bar this if you want to, because honestly, the Maelstrom sword, it's just kind of there. But I really don't feel like you need the extra sustain from the low slash. So if you want to farm up the sword and board, you can as well. Now, if you only want to farm one dungeon, there is another set that is very similar to that, and it's called Witchman's Armor. What this does is going to give you stamina recovery, weapon damage, maximum health, and when you use the ultimate ability, you heal for 46 health and restore 46 stamina magicka per point of the ultimate cost. Now this works very similar to a DK's effect. Their passive, where they pop an ultimate and they restore. Witchman's Armor is basically a DK passive, but you can put it on any of your tanks if you want to go that route. It's obviously a lot more. It's 46 points instead of 24 points, but with this, instead, you're doing it for the entire group within 20 meters. So it's not just 3 members. So if you're in a trial and you pop this, it's going to affect everybody within 20 meters of you, so it should hit your entire group. But this is just a fun little set. It all synergizes really well, and I think it's really cool. So you're going to restore resources this way. You're going to give ultimate this way. You're going to give defense, or resistances, not necessarily defense, but resistances with your monster set, ultimate with your first 5-piece, and then resources with your second 5-piece. And then this right here will just kind of help you sustain. I was in a group. Dude could not figure out why he was getting ultimate, why he was not losing resources as much, and he was flipping out. He thought it was some game glitch, some bug going on right now in the dungeon. I think we were in Frostvault. He could not figure it out for nothing. And it was just so funny when I told him about these sets. So he knew about Arceus. He thought it only affected one person, but no, it affects you and 3 other members. And then Lamia Song affects everybody as well. So I absolutely love the setup. I've been having a lot of fun with it. So I thought I would show it to y'all. But now into the skills. Pierce Armor. This is basically going to be used to make the monster attack us for 15 seconds. It's taunting them. It's going to be Minor Breach and Major Breach on the enemy, reducing their physical and spell resistance by 2.9 and 5.9 for 15 seconds. Heroic Slash. We're going to hit them, dealing some damage, and we're going to affect them with Minor Main, reducing their damage done by 5% for 12 seconds. You gain Minor Heroism, granting you 1 ultimate every 1.5 seconds for 12 seconds as well. Radiant Ward. Surround yourself with a solar rays, granting a damage shield that absorbs up to 12.2k damage for 6 seconds. A portion of this ability scales off your max health. Nearby enemies take 3.5k damage while the shield is activated. Each enemy hit increases shield strength by 9%. So this is just a nice little shield. If you don't necessarily want to rely on the magic so much, I mean, you can always go with like Bone Shield, which is in your Fire's Guild abilities here. No, Fire's Guild. I'm on it. My bad. You can go with Bone Shield if you have one. I mean, it's not bad. As you can see, it's a 12k shield unmorphed, and it would also give an ally shield as well if you want to go with something like that. But I've just been going with my Radiant Ward. It's a shield there. It does damage, and it gets stronger when it hits multiple people. So, Breath of Life, Beacon your inner light, healing yourself or a wounded ally in front of you for 7.2k health. Also heals one other injured target for 2.4. For a heal, Breath of Life works if you just need that quick heal. You can go Echoing Vigor or Resolving Vigor if you're just more worried about yourself. This one will heal some of the groups around you. So it's up to you. Pick whichever heal you want. This is just really, it's always nice just to have a heal on your bar. Repentance, Consecrate. Consecrate the souls of the falling, healing you and your allies for 3k health and restoring 3000 stamina to you for each corpse nearby. While slot, you gain minor fortitude, minor endurance, and minor intellect, increasing your health, stamina, and magic code by 15%. So, it will heal everybody in the group, but it's only going to restore stamina to you. So keep that in mind. And then the front bar, I have a reviving barrier here. Sometimes I use this, sometimes I don't. But for the most part, I'm using my warhorn on my back bar. I'm not using barrier. If you want to, you can also use solar disturbance if you don't want to be bothered with barrier here, and you are double barring both ultimates. Then by all means, you can go with solar disturbance, which is basically going to put major maim on the enemy or all enemies in the area for 12 seconds. So an ally can activate the synergy, dealing some damage to the enemies in it as well, and stunning them for 3 seconds. So you can also go with the one-handed sword and board ultimate if you want to, but for me, these are the 3 ultimates that I use. This one being my primary one. So now back bar, radiant ward. What? No. Oop. That's weird. Alright, inner rage. Ignite the fires of hate in an enemy's heart, dealing 2.4k magic damage and taunting them to attack you for 15 seconds. That's all it is. It's just a ranged taunt. So if they're far away, we don't want to go running after them. We don't want to chase them down. We don't want to waste our stamina. We can just simply enter fire, and they'll come to us. So now, our next ability is Silver Leash. We fire a Dawnguard's crossbow hook to pull an enemy to you, dealing 2.9k physical damage and reducing their movement speed by 30% for 4 seconds. So if we con them, they're not coming to us. They're still just setting off to say it's an archer or mage or whatever. And you just hook them and you pull them to us. That's it. If they haven't been CC'd, then they'll come right to you. If they've been CC'd, you're going to have to wait 15 seconds to be able to pull them. Just all it is. And then once they do get to you, don't forget to stab them. So that little prick them. So that way you can debuff them. So, back bar, we have Blockhead Frost. Slam your staff down to create an ice barrier in front of you, dealing. Well, the damage isn't really necessarily that important, but it will apply a frost safeguard for 6 seconds to you and nearby allies that absorbs up to 10.6k damage from projectiles. Chilled enemies become frozen and are immobilized for 4 seconds. But the shield to protect from projectiles is nice, but we're really using it for the Crusher debuff here. As you can see it, 4 seconds, it just restarts. As long as this is down, it's going to continue to apply the Crusher enchant. So with Crusher going, we can, on our bar, you just hit them, and you'll see the weakening enchant as well. So 4 seconds is up, boom, there. So you always have weakening, and you'll always have Crusher on the enemy. So it's just nice. Channel Focus, create a rune of celestial protection, and gain major resolve for 23 seconds. Increase your physical resistance and spell resistance by 5.9. You also recover 242 magicka every 1 second over the duration. Standing within the ruins heals you for 1.8k health every 1 second, which scales off your max health. So, in this, we're not going to have any magic sustain issues. None. You can see. Plus, if we pop a pot, it's going to be even more sustained. So, now, it also provides us a nice little heal, and it also supplies us our resistance. So while standing in it, as you can see, the heal went from like 19 to 2k. So, it's just a little bit of a buff. Now, Extended Ritual, Exalted and Sacred Light Adria, cleansing up to 5 harmful effects from yourself and immediately, and healing you and nearby allies for 1.6 health every 2 seconds for 20 seconds. Ally in the area can activate the Purifying Synergy, cleansing all harmful effects from themselves and healing for 4k. This ability scales off your highest offensive stat. So this will heal, this will heal, and then of course you have your Repentance will heal, and then Breath of Life will heal. All this will heal. It's very, very easy. You will have no trouble sustaining your magicka, your stamina, or keeping yourself up with your health heals. So, overall, this is just an interesting build. Now, Aggressive Warhorn. You sound a Warhorn to rally your forces, increasing you and your group's max magicka and max stamina by 10% for 30 seconds. You and your allies gain major force, increasing your critical damage by 20% for 9 seconds. I think that will go up to 10 seconds as this levels up, but right now it's just 9. So, with everything, it's just extremely easy. Now, let's see here. burn some of these resources real quick, and I can show you what Warhorn does, or what the other set does. Okay, stamina gone. Let me burn my magicka. So as you can see, I have no resources, and then Warhorn. It's just a little bit. It just pops back up just a little bit. It's not a whole lot. It's about 6k right there. But it's enough. It's enough to allow me to start using my other abilities for whatever reason. So it's just to help. It's to help with the resource management to the other groups, and it makes a difference while in groups and while doing things. I didn't think it would make as much of a difference, but it does. It's a really interesting concept, and I'm actually absolutely loving some of the reactions to some of the people that I'm in group with. So let me know what you think. If you liked it, if you hate it, just let me know. And until always, take care, have fun.